but some of you have like been throwing in things before 7 a.m. that aren't quite ready. To some extent, there is a deadline, so you have to get it in, but to some extent, especially on Wednesdays, Colby, I heartily agree. But just beware, if it's 7:55 and you're supposed to be getting to period 1, you're just now starting to think to upload pictures, just be aware. Be careful. All right, here we go. Kiddos, here's the final answer. Or here is a final answer. I think it's the most simplified. And it actually does match the answer in the back of the book, although it's an even, so in the back of my book, I suppose. 6x cotangent of x minus 2x cotangent squared of x minus 3 times the quantity x squared plus 1. That could have been, this could have been rewritten a little bit differently. Cosecant squared of x all over 3 minus cotangent of x quantity squared. As some of you guys who actually think you have a solution to this problem are checking, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to show you how it really wasn't that bad. Doesn't mean you liked it. Doesn't mean you didn't have work like totally spread out all the way along the page because there was so much stuff going on, right? But it was possible. Ready? Shouldn't we all be able to say the geometric form of the quotient rule? Not all, but at least some of us. Guys, how's the quotient rule go? Bottom, so triangle. Keep going. Square prime minus square triangle prime all over. Okay. Where did this get hard? Right? Now you have to know your trig rules. But should it have been hard rewriting triangle? No. Should it have been hard rewriting square? No. Should it have been hard taking triangle prime, which is a rule, positive cosecant squared of x, negative times a negative? No. Rewriting this squared? No. What was hard? That guy. So, couldn't you have, before you even did the problem, couldn't you have done a box triangle for this guy too in a different color? Then couldn't you have done triangle times, how would you take this guy's derivative? Second d first plus first d second. Do you guys agree? Minus box triangle prime all over triangle squared. Could you have filled into that guy? Yeah. Should it have been hard to rewrite triangle? No. To rewrite box prime? Oh, it's just 2x. To rewrite box? No. To do triangle prime? Negative cosecant squared of x? No. Now, was this a lot messier than this? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the solution if you guys actually want to check individual steps. But that's exactly what I did, not this year, but in years past. And here's one way that I filled the whiteboard one year. When I went ahead and did bottom d top, I did the product rule. And the product rule involved second d first plus first d second. In the midst of that, I had a negative cosecant squared of x get distributed to an x squared plus 1. So that's where these terms ended up coming from. And then I had minus second top d bottom. I think it was a negative, and then you had a cotangent, so that'd be negative negative cosecant squared, which is why that's a positive. And if you guys notice, there's a lot of arrows going on. Why? I have to distribute, and I did. I have to distribute terms. I took cosecant squared cotangent and took it to x squared and to 1. And in the midst of distributing, I know, look, I filled this whole half of the whiteboard. Whoosh. In distributing, guess what? Some stuff canceled. Some stuff canceled. And what I was left with was this 6x cotangent x minus 2x cotangent squared of x minus 3x squared cosecant squared of x minus 3 cosecant squared of x. Now, some of you could have boxed this and been like, meh, heh, 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 except I said and simplify. But some of you could have boxed this and been like, meh, heh, 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 and you were right. You weren't wrong. But I said and simplify as though there was a multiple choice to match because the back of the book did have an answer that I was trying to match when I did it. And I was trying to see if you would be scared and run away, or be scared and reach out, or, well, be scared and persevere. Anyway, you're like, I don't even know what I did. But anyway, at the end, guys, what they ended up doing was seeing that not all of the terms shared anything, but that these last two terms shared a cosecant squared and a 3. So they pulled that out, which is where I got the and they got the x squared plus 1. So this would have been a little bit weird for you. Whoa, those colors are nice and bright now, huh? So this last step was the weirdest one. But if you guys had those two last terms, you should be able to make it match by distributing the negative 3 cosecant squared of x to one to the other. In the video that I'm taping right now, because I didn't really like period 1's video, not that it was their fault, it just didn't turn out super well. In the in your guys' video right now, you can come back, you can access this solution, you can check your work, you can see if you can get it. But the long story short, guys, look, here's the rule right here. You just got to plug in and know how to take the derivative of little baby pieces, one piece at a time. Was it impossible? No. Was it hard? Yes. Oh, yes. It was hard. I admit it. I showed, oh, it's still up there. I showed BC the problem that you guys worked on. I was like, oh, look, they were working on this one and got stuck. And they're like, oh, well, that's hard. I'm like, yeah, it is hard. But I asked them why it was hard. They're like, oh, it's a product rule inside of a quotient rule, and there's trig. They got it. They figured out that it was hard. They're tracking. Okay, it was messy. It was long. But do you think it's impossible? Mm-mm. It's not. I want you guys to go ahead and clear off your desk of everything but the baby whiteboard, the marker, the tissue, and your homework spirals. Keep them open. Just close your notes. What? You could have split it. You could have split it. You should still be able to make it match, though. You still have the negative 3 cosecant squared of x squared plus 1. And then you have the, ooh, what happened to the other two? Well, 2x cotangent x, 1 minus cotangent x. 3 minus cotangent x. Yeah, it's another variation. Also good, Lorenzo. Also good. How many of you guys ended with some sort of correct form, from what you can tell, some sort of correct form of the answer? Lorenzo has a correct form. Kevin, Colby, Kyrie, Dean's thinking, Gavin maybe. Take a little bit longer, look at the video, you can compare and see if you could truly make it match. But excellent job to those of you that did persevere. An excellent job to those of you that reached out, even if you were stuck. Doesn't mean that you had it perfect when you came into class, but that was never the goal. The goal was never to have it perfect. It was to see how you approached a difficult problem. I want you guys' homework spirals open. Why? Because we're going to copy down the problems once you get them right. We're actually going to, in your homework spirals, all start together. I have 4 problems for us to work on, but you guys are only going to work on 3 of them. I have 4 problems. You guys are only going to work on 3 of them. Yeah, you're going to go ahead and call it, and I have it ready somewhere. Call it section 2.3 AP Prep. Back of your homework spiral. Section 2.3 AP Prep. I'm going to have you guys start looking at the first problem as I peek at our group orientation as is. This is the one we're working on all together. So no whiteboards, no markers. I'm going to walk through it with you, not answering it, but like using your guys' input to solve it. And the reason why I'm not having you guys do this in groups is it's very concept heavy and it's not very computationally heavy, meaning you don't exactly need to be solving for stuff. It's more understanding what you've learned. As you guys get down the key point to this problem, we have 3, 3, 2, and 3, and 2. I'm going to go ahead and yeah, Joe and Jack, just come up to the front. I'll have you join Lainey and Hannah. In your group, person doesn't have to go because you're just going to have 3 questions after this. You guys can choose what one person isn't going to go once we start on that portion. But okay, let's work all together. Just for this one problem, and then we're going into competition. Okay? And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to explain to you guys why I have a little Matryoshka doll to introduce section 2.4. Insides happen in math. F of g of h of x. Anyway, coming back. Shh, shh, shh. Question. This is asking which of the following could be false. Does that mean must be false? Nope. So maybe the answer is sometimes true and sometimes false. Oh, it's the worst kind. I need someone to identify for me, based on the only clue we have that f is differentiable at x equals c, something that must always be true and hence could not be false. Raise a hand. Kevin. Why? Says. I'm going to take out the it and put in an f. If f is differentiable, then f must be continuous. That's always true. Good. That cannot be a possible answer. Hannah. Why? Yes. If a function is continuous, all of its limits exist and agree with the points. But all the limits exist. If the limit did not exist, it's broken. Right? What's another one that we can cancel out and say, this must always be true and hence could not possibly be false? C? Okay. Why C?
Because it says it's differentiable at C, so the derivative has to.
Good, because vocab word means able to be differentiated or derived, aka the derivative must exist. Could the second derivative exist? Yeah. Could the second derivative not exist? Yes. Why? This would need to say twice differentiable, able to be derived to get to f double prime, and it doesn't. So therefore, the final answer is D. One person. Who's going to start with the marker? Keep your homework spirals open. That's fine. Just no one else is allowed to be writing except for the one person with the one marker. People in the front, turn your chairs to people in the back. People in the front, turn your chairs to people in the back. You guys? Yes. You're going to be writing down in your homework spirals once you have checked the answer with me that it is correct. Now, here's the competition today. Do you guys have the extra whiteboard still? Can I steal that? Thank you. Here's the competition today. Do you guys remember from yesterday? The goal is not to get it first. The goal is to get it right. Now, when you hold up your board towards me, wait to hold it up until I come towards you and you can have it facing me. Why? Because these answers have multiple choice letters, right? And if someone gets it right, and everyone just heard the letter they just screamed out, what's everyone else going to possibly do? Okay. If your work doesn't match the answer, I'm not going to give you the credit. The work has to match the answer, but here's the idea. Any group that can get it right gets the full points, and there's absolutely no bonus for getting it first. The goal today is to get it right. We have groups 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The goal is to get it right, not just to get it first, not even to get it first. You guys need to have an answer, how you got there, and a letter circled or boxed at the end. If you get it wrong, the only way you'll possibly get points is if you get it right and everyone else gets it wrong. Does that make sense? So your first submission. Now, why am I doing that? On your test, how many submissions do you get? So make it good the first time. Now, if you get it wrong, should you keep trying? Yes, because number one, don't go putting the wrong answer in your homework spiral. That's not going to help. And number two, what if everyone else gets it wrong too? Bank on that fact and be like, fine, we'll get it right because we just know that we got something wrong. And maybe I'll give you a hint. Here's the dealio, though. Even though it's not who gets it first, I do have to somehow keep this within time constraints. So I'm going to slowly start solving. And basically, if there's a group that hasn't submitted an answer yet, but I end up beating them to the punch, I'm going to go very slow. If I beat you to the punch, then your points don't count. Does that make sense? All right, on your marks, get set. People in the front, turn to the back. You can turn your whole seats, totally fine. New person every time with the marker. No one else is allowed to be writing besides the person with the marker. On your marks. Huh? There were 2 groups that got all 3 questions right. On your marks, get set, and go. No accessing notes, but you are allowed to access each other. Don't forget my green marker trick. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Two more groups need to check in. Three brains to put together. Keep notes away. If you've gotten it right, and if people in your group have gotten it down, you can go ahead and erase your board to get ready for the next one. My last two groups, you have about 1 more minute to check in. Write it down. Oh, here you go. Okay. No, you're okay, Jaden. Everyone's checked in. Let me see. All right. Everybody got the first one right. Second, the first derivative of 4e to the x is itself, plus first. The second, the derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared of x. Why do I have them both in green? What am I trying to remind you? What's in common? And the GCF was 4e to the x. What was remaining? Cotangent minus cosecant squared of x, which only matched with letter C. All right, we're switching in about a minute. Get down what you need to. Erase the board. Someone new with the marker. Remember, there are only 3 problems. My group of 4, only 3 of you will go. Everyone tied with 1 point. Okay. Notes are not allowed to be open, but you are allowed to collaborate with each other. Someone new with the pen? On your marks. Get set. Go. Have fun. I'll give you the same hints along the way as I did to period 1. I didn't give many, but I gave a couple. Don't forget green marker. My hint for right now is simplify the first before you go on. Hint number 1 was simplify the first before going on, and hint number 2 is FOIL out the denominator before going on. And those are my only hints. Don't forget the green marker. Simplify the first before going on. FOIL out the denominator before going on. Dun, 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 dun.
Can you cancel on x? 2x plus 5. Does anyone have an answer?
One group has a wrong answer. But if everyone else gets it wrong, maybe they'll get it right. They're still working. I'm going slow. You guys still have a little bit of time. I'm not done. That's just the first derivative. But time is counting down. Get it down. I have one right submission. Talk it through though, guys. You need to get in your homework spiral now and see if it actually is completely legal. One more group can check in, but not for long.
Wait, they already heard 2 of that.
But they have to have the work that shows it. But why were people saying? I said you shouldn't say it. So I did have one group check in with the right answer before. Not for long. Do you guys have a submission? Because the next step, it'll be too late. So many D's, and yet D was wrong. But you guys know why they put D as an answer choice, don't you? It looked so right. Only one group got it right. Group number 1. Do you guys see how there was a 2x plus 10 shared? I told you, remember the green trick. If we pulled out that 2x plus 10, guess what? It ends up being 2 times x plus 5. And what's left is an x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus an x squared minus a 10x plus 5 all over. Wasn't this x plus 5 to begin with squared? Squared again, that's x. One of them goes away with those. That cancels, cancels, cancels. 25 plus 5 is 30. 30 and 2 is 60. And I end up with letter A. We didn't get to the third problem, but we still have a winner. Group number 1. Here's a Post-it note. Give me a full donut, any full donut that would be at a normal donut shop that you want during 0 period tomorrow. The rest of you guys, erase your whiteboards and bring them up to the front.
Nice try, guys.
You guys will see number 3 tomorrow. Matryoshka dolls will just have to wait. That homework's not due until Thursday. You're welcome. Oh, just on the pile. Sorry, Victor. They haven't started it yet. Thank you. Yeah.
For the power rule, when it
Yes.
goes like let's say it says like 2 pounds.
Okay. Like this, right?
Yeah. How would you do that way?
Okay.
How do I do it when it's just like
Normal ones, right? Okay. It's the same process of bringing down. So just bring down the whole thing. And we're still subtracting 1. The problem is our brain doesn't like it.
yeah?
So,
Or 3.
yeah, exactly. And 2/3 minus 3/3. What would that be, Jaden?
-1.
Uh-huh. And so this is technically right, but it could be rewritten because the negative exponent pops it in the denominator. Got it. So then it could be x to the 1/3, like that. Or it could also be rewritten with the radical.
Can I take a picture?
Yeah, definitely. That's the hardest type of power rule. Surprise. Oh, all of you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what kind of donuts. Period 1, like all of them wanted apple fritters minus.
What are apple fritters?
They're the big ones, the like,
Fried things.
they're fried with apple stuff in them. Do you like chocolate? Do you like sprinkles?
She likes chocolate.
Do you like the twisty ones or the bar ones? Do you like chocolate?
Twisty one.
Okay. So something like longish, glazed-ish with chocolate. All right, I can do that.